And if you don't have a catalog, let me know. All of my customers get catalogs from me for free. And if you place a $30 order, you get the customer appreciation PDF. And then if you place the $50 order, you get the customer appreciation PDF plus a Sale-a-bration item. So lots of fun stuff. I should be back now that my face is on there. So I think sound is back. I apologize. I must have kicked something by accident and I kicked myself out. But we're back. We're here for the card. And this is what we're working with. The Happiest Hippos, which is a free Sale-a-bration set. I'm working with this kind of bookbinding easel card. And so I started out with the card base that is 4 1/4 by 11, scored at 5 1/2. Yeah, now you can see it. Okay, so it's scored at 5 1/2, but then it's scored again at 6 3/4, and then at 8 7/8. So that's going to be our card base. Okay, so that's going to get you what I have up here. Okay, let's see. There we go. Now it matches. So this is our card base. Then we have some additional pieces over here. So I've cut out his little bucket and his mask and some water droplets. No, there's the other one. And then there's all these little pieces. So we'll start out basic. We'll start out with up here and at the bottom in here. These two pieces, basic white, they're 4 1/8 by 1 1/8. And then this one is 4 by 1 that is going to go right over the top. And so there's 2 of those. Okay. Then for the front, where I'm going to put my hippo, he's going to go here. And so I've got some 3 layers. And you could do this with 1 layer. You don't have to double it up like I did. I just wanted to really emphasize the red, white, and blue. So mine are multiple layers. This one, the bottom one, the white, 4 1/8 by 4 1/8. The blue designer series paper. I'm just using the muted side. It's kind of an ombre look. This one is 4 by 4, and this is 3 7/8 by 3 7/8. Now my little part that's going to go here in the middle, this one is 4 1/8 by 2 7/8. And what that's going to do is it's going to give me a little bit of a red peekaboo between the two. So once I glue this all on, we're going to have a little bit of red between them. So we get our full red, white, and blue. So I apologize if we lost people. I'm watching the numbers go up and down. This is all going to be available for replay. So if you've got barbecues to get to and all of that, have at it. This will be available on YouTube. This is just a sanding block. And all I'm doing is I'm just knocking off the little paper burrs. I don't know what you call them. It was a little bit of fuzz on the end of my paper. And you can get a sanding block at your hardware store. You can get a nail file. I mean, there's any number of things you can use for this. Back in the day, in the 90s, they used to sell the Stampin' Up block. And I still have mine. It's been good forever. So you might want to do that. Also, when there's, kind of a white core to our designer series paper, another thing you can do is take a sponge dauber. And you don't have to do this. I'm just saying that if that was looking like it was going to pop out and be visible, you could take a sponge dauber and just straight up and down on the edge. See, I'm not going over, so I'm not getting any of the designer series paper itself. I'm just getting the edge. So now it's no longer white. So, just an option. You don't have to. but I love to give little tips just in case. So, you know, there's a reason for you to be here. Oh, yes. Thank you, Deb. She's reminding everybody we need to type in hashtag prize patrol because so far there's only 2 entries. And whoever wins today will get today's card. So you will get this card in the mail. If you get picked at the end, I will spin a wheel and everyone will, oh, where'd it go? There we go. We'll get a chance to win today's card. So that's how it's entered, just hashtag, which is the pound sign, and then prize patrol, all one word. So make sure you have that in there. There we go. Doubled our numbers already. How about that? So because I did the other 2, I'm just going to go ahead and really quickly do this one. It's not totally necessary, and I'm probably inking my fingers unnecessarily, but you know, hey, it's not all fun until our fingers are all inky, right? Wash my hair tonight, all the ink will come off. No big deal. Okay, so that's inking the edges. I have this little box I got on Amazon, holds all my little sponge daubers, and if you need this piece up here, let me know. I have those available. Just is a, you know, container to hold all my sponge daubers. Okay, let's get some pieces out of the way. I feel like I have lots of pieces here, and a lot of them we can just stick straight onto the card and cut down on all of this. So I'm going to take this piece. Again, this is one of the ones that was 4 1/8 by 1 1/8. So that's going to go there. And then this one's going to go right over the top. This is 4 by 1. This is some of the new designer series papers in the new annual catalog, but they are gorgeous. I'm going to do an additional one down here at the bottom. You could choose to pop it up on dimensionals if you're worried that you need a little more surface area for your easel to butt up against, because it does butt up against that. Because I've got so many layers and I didn't think it was going to get a lot of movement, I thought it was, you know, okay like that. But if you popped it up on dimensionals, it'd really hold. And so that would, you know, be your stop for your easel. Okay, so none of this requires any stamping yet. We're just kind of decorating up and getting our red, white, and blue thing going on here. It's coming out pretty already. Oh, and look what I did there. Probably didn't want to do that. I only need half of that because this is going to adhere to the front, but I don't need glue on the upper half. So let me cut a new one of those. I'll use this for something else. See, there has to be some kind of boo-boo in every video I do, right? But it's all good. We'll just pop out our handy dandy trimmer and do a new one, 4 1/8 by 4 1/8. This time we're going to remember it's only going on the bottom. So I'm putting the adhesive down here, but I'm being careful not to be too far over because I want this to be centered in there and still have my border. What did I do? Oh, apparently I can't measure. Four and 1/8 by 4 1/8. There we go. Just when I thought I was like all prepared, I'd knock off the sound, I'd cut paper the wrong size, you know. Okay, so I'm going to center this in here. There we go. So now I've got just as much red down here as I have up here. So when it's totally flat, it looks like it's got its edges. I'm a true stamper that I do everything wrong. Could be. The important part is not to stress about it. There's always something else I can do with that other piece of paper. That just means after my live here, I'm going to have to keep crafting. What a bummer, right? All right. So this is going to be the part I'm going to do my hippo scene on. And this is going to go on the inside. I'm going to bring out my bow maker tool because I want a bow to go up here. So I'm just going to wrap this around the two posts. I'm going to take the one that's on top and I'm going to feed it underneath. Pull it straight back. And then I'm just going to tie a knot. These are available for sale on my blog. There we go. Okay, there's my bow. So it's going to wrap around here. Now I have not glued this section together yet because I want it to seal on the inside. So I'm going to take my paper snips here, some scissors, and I'm going to then take seal. I'm going to put a little there and a little here. Then when I set this down and I wrap it around, it's going to stick to the seal on the inside. And so this will allow me to maneuver it a little, make sure it's good and tight. And then after I've got everything all done, I can put a little more adhesive closer to the edges now. Then when I close it, the parts of my ribbon that may get frayed are buried inside. Okay, I have a quick and easy sentiment for the inside. It came in the set. So I'm just using this Love You a Ton. You could, of course, use any sentiment you wanted from any of your other stamp sets. I just was trying to stick within the one that came in the kit. Alrighty. I think I'm going to go Starry Sky. That's a good blue, right? Now, see, it's got that kind of halo around it. You have to be really careful. This pad was super juicy, and I was not gentle enough when I went around and when I stamped it. So I can take my, what do we call this, simple chamois, and I'm just kind of going around the edge. Hopefully I don't need to do this. Look at that. Okay, so I'm going to stamp this here. There's all sorts of boo-boos today. Yay, I didn't get the halo. Now, had I gotten the halo, that would be when you flip it over and you stamp on the other side. I can't even get it now. Okay, if I had gotten that little line, that's what we call a halo. And that would mean I would want to flip it over and stamp on the other side. Now, this is why we do all of our stamping before we adhere it to the card. If I had glued that to the inside of the card and then given myself a halo, it would have been a whole lot harder to clean up than just flipping the paper. So stamp, then adhere. With all the mistakes I'm making today, it's especially important. Okay, let's put this right side up. There we go. There's the inside. Now we're going to do our hippo. And now if you notice, he's got the blue sky all around him and the green on the bottom. That's all done with the blending brushes. And I washed mine today, so they're still a little damp. I was trying to get some of that darkness out of it. I think I was always using one for blue and one for green and one for yellows, and I was using all of my colors, but I think I need one for light blues and one for darker blues, because when I did him, a little more orchid opulence shows up around him, or orchid oasis, sorry. Orchid opulence was an old color years ago. But I wanted him to have a more blue, a lighter blue around him. So I'm going to switch to having two, one for light blue, one for dark blue. Where was I? Okay, so we're going to stamp him. I'm going to go ahead and do that in basic gray. There's any number of colors. You could do them in memento black. You could do them in smoky slate. But I'm stamping him first. Then I'm going to bring in my mask. And I talked some last week, I think the week before, about the masking paper that's now in our annual catalog. And when I stamped him, I went ahead and I cut him out with the die cut. Now, when I did that, you'll notice in here, there's a little bit of a white around him. And it looked really white after I had done my blending. So I went in there with a light pool party just to give him kind of a, a halo glow around him. So it wasn't quite as bright white. So what I have done now is I went back in and I cut right along the edge so there's not that gap. So this should go right over the top without that gap. Now I got him really close on top. I wasn't so worried about the bottom because the bottom is going to be in the bucket. So that's not going to matter that I have some extra white down here. Let's see. Let's start with some light blues. I've got our pool party. And I'm starting out over here because I don't want too many harsh marks on my cardstock. And it's always better to start out light and then go back and hit it with some additional afterwards rather than getting it too dark, because it's easier to add more than it is to take some off. This is Orchid Oasis. And so this is, like I said, it was really wet. So I'm getting a lot of color with it. Ooh. Not liking that so much. Okay, so do as I say, not as I do. This is what I always tell everybody. You want to go slowly and have more patience with it than I'm having right now, because we're not ending up with a perfect result. is that? Alrighty, not liking that at all. Let's give him a wider border. Well, let's do the green first. I'm getting ahead of myself. Again, I always say this is good that I'm having some goof ups because I show you how to fix them. So this is Pear Pizzazz. And Garden Green. Now I have a feeling I may have gotten that overly dark because my brushes are still wet. I have a feeling that's why that did that. So remember I said this has the tiny border. Let's give it a bigger border. By coming in here, I'm going to cut off 1/8 of an inch. That'll get rid of that little white dot there. Now, like I said, I'm just doing this to cover up a boo-boo. You shouldn't need to do this. We could also come in with a piece of Daffodil Delight, and what I'll do is I'll cut out something that'll look like a sun to dig through my arsenal. Or I can also make a cloud. I do see a cloud up here. See? That could cover that right up. So do you guys do this when you get mistakes on your card? Do you figure out a way to fix it, or do you think the whole thing needs to be trashed? Because again, that's part of my thing here is I don't want stamping to be stressful. I want it to be fun. And so sometimes a lot of this is just making it work. Okay, yeah, see down here at the bottom, I have a lot of that excess white that I probably shouldn't have, but that's going to get covered up with the bucket. So I die cut the bucket out of basic gray, so that will sit on the grass. Yeah, see, they're unique. One-of-a-kind items. Good. Like I said, I want to keep things stress-free. It's not a mistake. It's just a chance to embellish. Okay, I'm going to go ahead and color him first. Then we'll put on his mask. So I don't know much about hippos, so I don't know what color they're supposed to be, but I came in with Petal Pink for his nose. And I'm doing the dark up top, then coming in with light. Hopefully the throwing it away and starting it all over is rare. I've even been known to like cut it up. Like if I did a background and I brushed and I didn't like the way it came out, I can die cut it with a detailed die and have it just be, you know, a butterfly with lots of different colors. So there's always ways to do something. Then I have Smoky Slate. So let's see. Start with the little end. I'm going to get his hands. And this is light. Oh, I guess I don't need to worry about his toes. Again, they're going to be in the bucket, so I won't see them. Has anybody placed their new order yet out of our new mini catalog? Or are you holding out to get some ideas? Now that everybody's starting to get their hands on it, Pinterest is filling up with ideas. There was some things in the catalog that I looked at and thought, nah, I don't think I need those. Then, of course, somebody comes up with some fabulous idea I see on Pinterest, and all that went out the window. But I'm trying to be good. Let's see. Let's give him some blue eyes. All right, now we're ready for our mask. So I should have done this with the adhesive. That's always the case, yes. But that's when you gather your friends together and have a party and earn some of it for free. With COVID and everything going on and being far away from some of my customers, I've started doing some parties on Facebook where I just kind of go live on Facebook a couple times and get everybody chatting in there. And then the hostess who brought everybody together gets credit for all the orders. We could give it a theme, or we could just, work on a certain stamp set. It's all up to you. I'm flexible. Let's see. I wanted the bucket here to have a little more definition. That's a smart idea, the little flip card with the wine. I could see that. So this is basic gray and a sponge dauber, and I'm just going to darken the handles and one side of it. Just gives it a little depth. It's not necessary to do that, but I like the little bit of pop that I get out of doing that. Okay, now see this guy, he had that little bitty border. This one, we're going to see more blue. So I kind of like it. Now this mask, I tore it a little bit, but it's not too bad. And I can usually save these by sticking them to the inside of the stamp case so that next time I go to do him, I might already have a mask cut out. Then we'll stick our bucket up on dimensionals. already. One of my water droplets stuck to something. There's two of them. There it is. Looking for the take your pick tool. Okay, this one I did remember to use adhesive sheet on the back. So that means I need to come back here and peel that off. Then I can have the little splashes coming out of his bucket. Another thing you could do is make some bokeh dots. I don't know if you guys remember that, but you can take like a circle die or a circle punch and punch out of something heavy, usually like the backing to your designer series paper, and then you would hold it down and you could sponge into the circle and then highlight it a little, and it could be bubbles. So lots of fun ideas. Now you'll notice on this one, I wanted to show you something too. If you look really close, you can see I sprayed it with some water. And that's how these little flecks ended up here. Stampin' Up makes a little sprayer. That's the only word I know for it, but it is super fine. And when it's just finer than you would get, you know, at the regular store. I mean, like, see, you can't even see it. It's so small. And it's great to use with water or to mix with some of our re-inker. You could put a couple drops of re-inker in there and then spray onto your cardstock, and you would get a little bit of a background to it. This one just gave us those little flecks. You can also do it with alcohol. I had shown you how I colored on the back of vellum with our Stampin Blends and then shot it with the super fine alcohol in here. And that made a cute background too. So these are our two cards for today. And I'll go ahead and pop those up on my blog. And then Thursday, we will be back with our hippo again, but this time it's a dancing ballerina. And so this is the same idea in that it's a Easel bookbinding card, but this time she's on point. So it's got a diamond instead of, you know, or a square on point. And then she's on a wobble. So she, you know, she moves. So I think granddaughters would absolutely love this. So this is the card we're making on Thursday. And then I will have one more that will be on my blog. So we will have 3 cards all done with our totally free Hippest Hippos. So thank you for joining me. Again, have you typed in hashtag prize patrol? Got 14 people on and only 8 entries. So if you type in hashtag prize patrol, then you get entered into the drawing to be eligible to win today's card. I would pop that off in the mail to you and you get it just for coming in and playing along. So here's my screen. And we're going to go ahead and spin, and then somebody's going to be a winner. Thank you. I'm glad that you like them. Don't forget to come back on Thursday because we're going to play all over again. So Lori's our winner. Congratulations. You will be getting today's card mailed to you. A way to redeem that is to go to queenbeecreations.net/prize patrol. The URL is there at the bottom of the screen. That's just to give me your address so that I can send that off. Okay, let's see. So Lori's our winner. And again, thank you for joining me. I appreciate you being here. I absolutely love what I do and sharing it with you. So again, if you need a catalog, go to my website and fill out the little form and request one. This is your last call to get product shares, which means that I take an entire pack of designer series paper and I cut it up and split it among people so you get a little bit of everything out of the catalog. I have swatch books, I have 6x6 product shares, and I have ribbons available. So that's there as well. So thanks for joining me, and I will see you on Thursday to make our other little hippo card. Come back and join me. Thanks.